Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video I actually wanted to talk a little bit about some unobtainable Dokkan Battle cards, and these are Dokkan Battle units that essentially you'll probably never be able to get again, or are extremely limited and unlikely to be able to get again. And they kind of fall into three categories. So you get the first category, which isn't the most interesting one. These are basically obsolete variants of cards. So a great example is this rarity Goku, who essentially was one of the free-to-play units you could earn. When they revamped his event, you could no longer get this Goku anymore. So it's not the most exciting, I want to say, in terms of unobtainable units, but it is something to mention. Great example is a Strength Gohan. A lot of them are rarity cards. Strength Gohan, also unobtainable. And yeah, just in general, not like a lot of units, that are getting phased out. Because when these events get revamped, to have new players, obtain rarity units is just like not logical. And to go through a 18-step Dokkan Awakening process is also not a good playing experience. So they tend to cut out these rarity units, and yeah, it does obviously affect some cards. Some cards then become unavailable but still exist technically within the game if someone's obtained it before. Now the second type of unobtainable unit is a little bit more interesting. So these are themed celebration units, so much like Icarus, which you can see here, and also my personal favorite, the Dokkan Battle Heroines card. These units are very much either like Kai's or Hercule statues. A great example is the Christmas units, like the Christmas Goku, the Christmas Trunks and Mai, the Christmas Master Roshi. There's like a chance for them to come back. They're slightly limited, but generally speaking, they're very unlikely to come back. I mean, the Dragon Ball Heroines card has never ever come back, and more than likely never will come back. But yeah, it is still incredibly interesting, and you can collect these, and some players will have them, some won't. A lot of them don't have Dokkan Awakening, so they fall into that unusable tab now, which is fine, but they're just kind of there for collector's pieces. And then you get the final category, which is probably one of the more interesting ones historically speaking, but like the crossover event categories. And this kind of also falls into two little kind of distinct, I want to say, like subsections. So you get the crossover now, which they do with like this Beelzebub from the Sandland crossover campaign, and obviously he's an unusable card, of course. He is a very simple, unusable card and everything. But then you get units like Arale. Now, Arale was a full-blown crossover, summonable unit that you could get on banners. They had a Dokkan Awakening from an event. Arale is no longer available in-game. So her event is there. You can still access her event. You can still get the Dokkan Awakening medals, but there is no way to obtain Arale unless you already have her, which is very interesting. It's a very, very interesting, for me at least, it's a very, very interesting kind of premise. Obviously, I can understand why they stopped it, because especially if the banner doesn't sell well, then you got to constantly bring back like an Arale banner. It just doesn't make sense in the long run, and throwing her in the general pool would make sense, but I guess probably would be a bit mean to the people that summoned for her. But yeah, Arale obviously being a promo character, there's like a full event and Dokkan Awakenings. It's just super interesting to see like how there's still speckles of her in the game, yet you cannot obviously obtain her anymore. And there was actually also another famous crossover campaign, which was run with One Piece Treasure Cruise, and obviously a very popular One Piece mobile game. And that actually had you fighting against Doflamingo, who is a kind of boss in One Piece, or obviously a villain in One Piece who is a boss in the game. Both games ran crossover events, and you can't access that event in-game at all. There was no crossover card, unfortunately, from that. However, if you look in the game's files, there is a Doflamingo unit because he needs a unit to be a boss in the game. So there actually is a Doflamingo card that exists in the database of Dokkan. A lot of data miners, will be able to extract it. I think a lot of private servers have made him a playable card for fun. But yeah, he doesn't exist in-game, which is super interesting. And the Strength Goku that dropped from this event also is not currently available in-game. So it's a very interesting concept that happened in Dokkan's past, which I find to be a super interesting kind of precursor. Is probably why they don't do crossover events anymore, due to the difficulty with licensing, bringing things back. Obviously barring other Dragon Ball IPs. So it's probably one of the reasons why we still haven't seen a Shallot crossover banner yet with Legends, just because of how would you bring it back. But yeah, super interesting. Bye.